Hello everyone. So in the previous three videos, we saw that how we can install a Hyperledger Fabric into our local machine. Then we executed the FabCar application, and also we created some RESTful API for the FabCar application. And in that case, in the RESTful APIs are actually executed, or we run with the help of curl command or directly in the browser, and the post methods are executed with the help of the application postman. So while we are doing a project or some application for a customer, we can't do, or we can't tell them to execute it using curl or postman. So we require some user interface. Most probably we require a web page interface that provide links or interfaces to execute these APIs. So in this video we are mainly exchanging the previous deployed API server application with some user interfaces. So mainly we are using Expressjs, and we are trying to implement a web interface for querying all car details as well as creating a particular car. So two other APIs can be created with the help of this, so you can make those pages. So in order for doing that, I am going to first copy the API server folder into another folder, UI server. So I already created that, so you just copy all the files of API server using the command cp -r API server space UI server. So it will take few minutes, and it will copy all the required files from API server to UI server. Okay, so most of the process are same as API server. We need to go inside UI server, and then we need to initiate our fabric using start fabric. Sorry, it is actually in the parent folder. We have to first start our fabric using start fabric.sh. so it will take few minutes for starting, so we can do the rest of the thing after initiation. Okay, we completed the deployment of our Hyperledger Fabric. So move into our UI server, and next we need to execute all the things we executed in the previous video. We need to create the certificate for the admin as well as for the user. First, we have to check whether the certificate is already present in the wallet. If it is there, please remove it from there. So first you have to create the certificate of admin. So for that, node enroll admin.js. Okay, it successfully created the admin. So next we are going to create the user. For that, run node register user .js. So it's successfully created the user app user one into our wallet. Okay, so I just renamed the user just as app user one. It's not required actually in this case. So actually we created a particular API in the previous tutorial inside the file UI server.js or API server.js. I just renamed the file to UI server.js, and so we can open that file and see what is in it. Okay, here you can see all the things that we written in API server.js file copied into this file. Here you have the first API, that is API query all car, which is a get method. So this is the next API, and then this is the third API, and last one here you can see the change owner API. So most of the APIs are kept as that in the previous tutorial. So now we are going to do certain things. You know that I am planning to create a web page having in the first page we have two links. The first when you click the first link, you will get the details of all car, and if you press the second link, then it will move to another page which contain a form to add new car into our ledger. So only two of the APIs are currently I'm trying to create, and the rest can be created by yourself. You can use the same template of query all car for querying a particular car, and also you can use the template of the form to add a new car for calling the API change car. Okay, so sorry, change owner. So I am trying to do only two APIs, API query all car and as well as add car. So just I added a query. As you see, you have something in your Expressjs. You have to go into the tutorials of Expressjs. So I just done certain modification here. I just called the body parser.url into a particular variable URL encoder.parser, and you know, if I pasted that in the post method, here you can see one more parameter is added. So just you refresh the Expressjs. Okay, so in order for doing that, here you can see I added one more thing, view engine bug. So you know that we need to have some view section inside Expressjs. So always you have to add the view page like HTML, those things to be added in a folder now called as view. So we have to create a new folder and name it as views. So automatically the Expressjs server will check for a views folder for displaying that particular HTMLs in your web browser. And here you can see we can you can use the HTML for doing the static creating the static web page, but in order for making things dynamic, we need to do some we need to use some type of extended HTML which have the capability of processing. So I am using certain template driven programming languages. So you can by searching in Chrome, you can see there are different template driven programming language like Jade, then EJS, so etc. can be used inside your Expressjs. So here I am currently using the Jade, and actually the Jade is renamed into a new name known as Pug. Okay, so in order for using this thing, you have to install Pug inside your local machine. So use sudo apt install Pug, and you can directly use that Pug template driven programming language using the command view engine Pug. Okay, so next here you can see we have 4 APIs, but we have no API for the home page. So I am creating a home page API. It is /API/ which will render a particular file known as index file. So it's actually a view file. Here you can see I created the view files, and the first file is known as index.pug. So opening that Pug file, you can find. So this is actually the way of writing Pug file or Jade file. Both are actually same. The new name is given as Pug. Okay, so It's actually the indentation keep the things in a particular format. As you know, in Python we are using indentation to denote the inner body as well as the outer bodies. So in the same way you have to use indentation. You can use space, a single space for as an indentation, or you can use a single tab for indentation. So if we use tab for indentation, then all the rest of the document you have to use tab as your indentation. So if you are using space, then all the rest of the file should use the space. So here I use a single space as the indentation. And here you, I think you all know what is actually the HTML tags. So this way we are creating HTML inside pug file. So here I added the title, and next I added a h1 tag which will provide a text first page. Then you can see I added two href, that means reference links. The first reference link will call the API query all car, and second reference link will call the API create car. Okay, so now we can start our first page. So you know that here you can see the file uiserver.js. uiserver.js will use the port 8080. Okay, so we can run. So UI server, then you have to run your file using node monitor nodemon UI server.js. So we are starting our node.js file. Yes, the nodemon is started our first page. So we can use localhost colon 8080/API. That is our link to our home page. So localhost 8080/API. Okay, so here you can see your first page with two new links. First one is view all car, and second one is insert a new car. So on clicking this view all car, you will get the details of all car in your ledger. Okay, here you got the result. Here you can see when you clicked view all car, it will call the API query all car, and in query all car, here most of the code is same as that in API server. So here it is added. So query all car will call, and you know that with the details of certificate details of app user one will be taken from the wallet, and then here it will evaluate query all car, the corresponding function in chain code, and after getting the result, it will render a new file, a new pug file, all cars. Okay, and into that all cars pug file, the corresponding information that we get from here we got the information about the details of all car in the variable result. So that variable will be passed into the pug file all car. So we can take the file all car. Okay, here you can see we created the pug file for displaying your details of all car, and at the same time there is actually I printed the records into our. Okay, it's actually your record. So this thing will can be used for identify what all are your values. So here we can see you created the chain code is actually returning a array of cars actually, and each index contain a dictionary with the two values, key as well as record, and record is again a dictionary which contain the details of a single car. So here you can see each index of a particular array contain the details of one car. So based on this structure we retrieve the items using like a statement known as which is actually a iteration statement in pug. Each item in list we are doing this thing. Okay, so we can use list, or you can use HTML table tag for displaying things in a beautiful manner. Here I am not using any style sheet or stylus or CSS file. So in order for making a good website, you have to add styles into the website. You just go through the tutorials of Pug or Jade, and it will help you to add style sheets or styles inside your Pug file. Okay, here it is just a basic web page. So this is your result that you got from the ledger. Okay, so next we can take insert a new car. So this is actually a created form for inserting a new car. So when I click that link, it will actually called a new API create car. Here you can see that API UI server. Here you can see API.get API create car, and it call another pug file create car, and the create car contain the form details about the form. So create car.pug file which contain the details regarding your form, and you have to correctly give the name of your input tag in the pug file. Is directly you have to check with the UI server create car API. So add car API is actually using the variables car ID, make, model, color and owner. So you have to create a form, and you have to add the input text boxes which having the name, car ID, make, model, color as well as owner. Okay, so here we created, and in the action we given the API of your chain code function. So slash API add car, and added one more parameter here. So this way we can easily implement a web UI interface for your create car. Next we can try for adding a new car 35 make 29265 model Honda, then color black, then owner tin. Okay, so on submitting it will call the API slash API add car, and we successfully add the value into the ledger. And if value is successfully added, then you will get a message transaction submitted successfully. So we can just go using the home page link. Okay, so again you can click view all car. I think we added the car 35. Okay, here you can see we added the car 35 with owner tin. So you can also use this template for adding the page for the remaining two APIs, query a particular car as well as changing the owner of a particular car. So I think with all these 4 videos I gone through how we can deploy a application in Expressjs. So I think you can also think for new projects which can be used for okay, this way we can create a blockchain application with Hyperledger and Expressjs. And you can also add some styles into this web page, and you can add as many APIs you can if you have a new logic, then you have to add it to first into the chain code. If you suppose you want to change the color of a particular car or the entire details of a particular car, then you have to add again some sort of function to chain code, then you have to call it from our API, then link the corresponding API into your view pages. So here I use Pug as a template programming language. So you can also use other programming language like EJS. So if you are familiar with JSP, then EJS is almost similar to JSP language. Okay, so that's end of this project.